Go to YouTube. Here we are. Okay, I'm caught. We'll give everybody a few minutes to check in, and then we will get going. Let me know when you get here so I can make sure that the audio and everything is working. Oh, let me turn the volume up. Okay. Let me know that you can hear me too, please. Once you log in. Hello, everybody. Let me know that you're here. We won't be too long. Hi, Jessica. How are you? That's fine. It's not going to be, thank you. It's not going to be a long one tonight because the inside's really easy, and then it's just a matter of putting it in and top stitching it. Hi, Joe. How are you? We're going to do part 2 today, which is just the lining and putting it in and top stitching it. It's really easy today. And I'll share the one that I finished. I'm going to thread my machine real quick because I had red on it, and I don't want to use red on this one. I want to use blue. I was finishing up that first one that I did, and it turned out really cute. And I have a surprise for everybody. I spoke with the pattern designer. Well, she emailed me. So I'll tell everybody when they get here. Can you guys hear me? That wasn't supposed to do that. Dropped my bobbin. Oh, good. Thank you, Jessica. We'll give everybody a few more minutes while I thread my bobbin. I know that Vivian said she wasn't going to be able to make it because she has to be at the lodge tonight, so she'll watch the replay. I spent the morning organizing all of my, organizing my hardware, which I started yesterday, and organizing all of my zippers. I was tired of looking in 10 different places for hardware and zippers, so I decided to get them organized and put back where they belong. Come Something's wrong. Why is that so tight? Oh. Hold on, I know what I did wrong. Oh, goodness gracious me. This is the part I can't see. Okay, now I can thread my machine. Alright, let me get my machine threaded and then we'll get started. This is really, this part is really very, very easy. Even easier than the part that we did on Monday. It is pretty much the same as an inside of a pouch. Or inside lining for a pouch. You're just going to put the slip pocket on. And then you are going to do the darts, sew it up, and then we can put it in and top stitch it, and then we're done. So it's a pretty easy, this part is pretty easy. Isn't it though? It does make me feel so much better to have everything organized, and now I know what I have, and so I don't have to order something if I can check to make sure I have it or don't have it before I order it. Because before I would order something and then find out a week later after I'd already used the new stuff that I already had it. So now I don't have to worry about that because I've got everything organized by size. Some of it's organized by color. Couldn't do it all by color because of space constraints, but I do have some of it organized by color. And I'm thinking that eventually after the holidays, I am going to try to find some time in between working on the expo to actually do a full inventory. Because I'm going to have it for my CPA anyway, so. Okay. You don't think about all of the stuff you buy as part of your inventory, but it is. So we've got way too much of that, but it's okay. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is the slip pocket. All right. So, and I think I've got everything except the slip pocket trimmed. So I'm going to trim that real quick because I don't cut out my interfacing perfectly. Generally, I just cut it about the size and then I'll trim it after I've interfaced. I find it's easier for me that way to just trim a little bit rather than being precise trying to be precise when I cut out the interfacing. So there we go. Bring up the bobbin thread and we should be good tonight, I hope. Okay. So here's my slip pocket. There are a couple of different ways you can do this. The way she suggests to do it in the instructions is to, on the long side of your slip pocket, the long ends, iron them down 3/8 of an inch, and then just trim the edges. So she wants you to do all of the edges that way. I find that takes longer for me to do it. So what I do is I fold it in half, sew most of it up at 3/8 of an inch, and then turn it. And then I because to me that's easier. So I'm going to fold it right sides together. And you can, up to you, you can definitely pin. I'm not as precise on this particular thing because you're going to turn it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'll press it a little bit, and then I'll press it again once I get it all stitched together. I will use my iron and press it actually with the iron. So I'm going to stitch from here up and to the fold at 3/8 of an inch, and then I'm going to come back here, stitch, and up to the fold at 3/8 of an inch, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to turn it. And I like to give myself a nice large turn hole because I feel like it works better for me. Let's see. That's good. Oh, my machine. It's not that it needs oil, it's just got a bad sound to it right now. I really believe it's the, that thing, the belt. I think it needs to be, changed. So, I have got to get it looked at. But it's been making that thing, that noise since I got it, and Juki Junkies, they told me, the people that I talked to there, because that's where I bought it, said that there should be nothing wrong with it, and I've had several people service it, so I'm the only one that hears it for some reason. But I know it's got a grinding sound. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to trim just a little bit of this corner. Whoops, where are you at? Oh, I'm on the wrong one, aren't I? There we go. Just a little bit of, hold on, there we go. This corner up here and this corner over here, okay? Because I want to make sure that I get a good turn. These I'm going to show you how to do. So I'm going to switch cameras for a second. Until I see it switch over, because I want you to be able to see it. Okay, so you're still looking at the ones that I actually poked at or pointed at. So I'm going to trim the corners, the two corners on the side where the hole is. Okay. Then I'm going to take my fingers, and I learned this from Chris Murphy. Oh, I want to trim that down to about 1/8 of an inch first. Not quite, a little bit more maybe, but not much. Hey Kathy, how are you tonight? And I'm only trimming the sides, not the top, okay? Not the top where the turn hole is. All right, so then I'm gonna take my fingers and I'm gonna show you this. Let's see, this might be the better of the two. Let's pull it this way. Okay. So I'm going to reach in to the turn hole, and I'm going to grab this corner. I'm going to fold it down fold it to the back on the seam, and I'm going to reach in and I'm going to grab that fold as best as I can, and then I'm going to hold it and pull it out. And then I should very easily be able to poke that corner out, and it should be almost perfect. Okay. So then I'll get my poker. If I could figure out what I did with it, I'll use this one instead. I gotta find my turning tool. And just poke the rest of it out, and you've got a perfect corner right there. Okay. Now the other one, not so much, because you can try it, but it's not going to matter as much, because this one's going to be covered by the piece of material that we're using as a cover, you know. I can't think tonight. Sorry, evenings are hard. And then I'm going to do the same thing back here. I'm going to fold it back. I'm going to reach in, push it, hold it, and then push it out with my turning tool. Comes out pretty much to the beginning already. You got two really nice bottom ends. And then I'm just going to reach in here and get this other one turned. And again, I'm not so worried about this one being perfect because it's going to be covered by the piece of, oh, I can't even think what the piece is called. I'm sorry. Okay, so then I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn it in and I'm going to pin it up just once or twice, or you can roll it or however you want to hold that together, and then I'm going to press it. Okay, this does not have to be perfect down here, right here, because you are going to cover it with, hold on, let me get it out and then maybe you'll understand what I'm talking about. Where is it? This little piece. The piece, the cover's gonna go on here. It's gonna cover the seam. Okay, so I'm gonna turn on my iron real quick. And while that's heating up, I want to show you guys what I did to the to the handle. I actually took this handle and I like the way the black one turned out, but for some reason I think it was the type of vinyl I was using. It's a lot stiffer than the black vinyl that I was using before. So I was having trouble getting a good braid with just two pieces. So I took on all of the areas where I crossed it over, I put a rivet on it. I kind of like the way it looks. So I'll probably do a few more like that. And then I also thought that not these, but if I'm using the ones from Jolie, there was enough room to put a third one in there. So I'm going to cut a third one and I'm going to braid with three, and then that way it should set perfectly. So, but this is a really cool handle, I think. I like the way it turned out. Okay, so then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put that, make that seam, and I'm just going to tuck it together so that when I press it, it'll press down. It's funny, there's a new bag out by Orosa, and it's so cool. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. It's a tote, but it is kind of, they weave it. And I was watching Chinova do a tutorial for it today, and it's so cool. I went and I ordered the pattern, and I'm going to try one tomorrow. Not that I don't have anything else cut out to do, but that's okay. I can take the stuff that's cut out with me to my son's in a week or two. So that will be perfect. So, okay. So now I'm going to take this to my iron right over here, and I'm going to press it. I'll be right back. And as I press it, I'm taking out the clips, obviously, so because I won't need them anymore. Sure that's clipped in there, or stays in there. All right. Okay, so now I am going to, you don't have to do this, but I thought it was easier when I did it the first time. I'm going to just do a basting stitch across the top so that it holds that seam closed. You're not going to see it because you are putting this strap over the top. So it'll just hold it closed, and it'll make it easier to lay that down and get a good lay on that. All right. And then I'm going to take this piece. And she suggested, I kind of, after doing the first one, I like the idea. Because the first one I did not use double back tape on, but I think I'm going to tonight. She suggests using double back tape on the edges. So I think I'm going to. I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to mark I'm going to mark a line down the center, which is 1/2 inch, because this is a 1 inch piece. So the pattern designer is going to give us, for our pajama party, 3 free patterns for me to give away. So we'll do a giveaway on Friday night too. I thought that would be fun. And she just emailed me today and thought that that would be fun. And I thought that would be a really nice thing for her to do. So I'm going to put the double back tape down on both sides. And you want that center line, you want to be on your fold that we've just stitched up. So now I'm going to take off both pieces of my tape. And one's going to go on the back side of my pocket and one's going to go on the front side of my pocket. And it doesn't matter which is which because it should be an even cut, but you might want to look just in case it's not. And make sure it's closed evenly. That's really important. Make sure you're folding it on that line and that it looks good and straight. There we go. And now what I did when I did this earlier today, this is my front, this is my back. My back is a little bit longer. You're not going to see it. What I did earlier today was I stitched a line down at the bottom, and then I also stitched a line at the top. So I have 2 lines. It looks really cool. And then you're not stitching down this way across the bottom or down the other side yet, because we're going to do that when we attach it. So I'm going to do the top one first. Oh, lost my thread. Hold on, guys. Gotta rethread. My tension's all wacky. What is that? Okay, hold on. No, it's, oh, my thread's got a knot. Hold on. There we go. Okay, that should work. Yep, that was the problem. My thread was all caught up. So is everybody gonna, are you guys gonna try to make it on Friday? I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I've got tons of stuff to sew, so. Trying to get ready for these craft fairs, so. And then I'm going to put one on the bottom. You can pull your threads through and tie them in the back. I'm not necessarily worried about that on the inside. I did do that for the outside on anything that showed. So, but for the inside, I don't worry so much about it for the lining. All right, now I have a little bit of a hangover on my, not me, but the thread. I mean the piece here. It's hanging over a little bit on both sides. So I'm going to trim that off. All right. And then I am going to get one of my lining pieces, and I want this to be centered and about, I believe, well, the measurement's in the pattern, but she gives you a recommended measurement. If you feel like that's too high, you can always go down a little bit too. Okay, so I mark my center, and I'm going to go down. Okay, let's see. And then for this one, I'm going to fold it in half, get my center on the pocket, and then I'm going to lay it down. And if I like where it's going, I really want it to be up a little higher than that. I think. They do not want to catch it in the bottom of the purse. Okay. Then I'm going to use pins to pin it down, because I'm just using cotton, so it's not going to hurt anything to pin it in there. Do one more, and then I'm just going to run an 1/8 of an inch top stitch all the way around the 3 sides, obviously not the top side. Now you can always separate this pocket if you want to. You just draw, you can draw a line down the center and using a erasable pen and sew down that line so that you can separate the pocket into 2 pockets if you want. It's not a huge pocket, so keep that in mind if you do decide to do it. It's about the right size for a cell phone, I think. Now, because it's on the inside and because it's a pocket, I am back stitching at the top. And I'm also going to back stitch in the corners, because those are the areas that I find when I have a bag that tend to get a lot of wear, and will end up, the seam will end up splitting. So, turn it, do the bottom, and I'll back stitch a little bit right there. And that's just my opinion. You're welcome to only go straight around if you'd like, but I think it's easy. It's better if it's really good and attached on those corners. And then I'm going to go up, maybe, there we go. And I'll top stitch at the top again. I'll back stitch at the top again. All right, so that is the slip pocket. Really easy. And we are going to now do the darts just like we did with the outside, and then we're going to sew it together, and we'll have our lining done, basically, and be almost ready to put it inside. Now, when I finished up the other one, she did have us use a zipper tail. I'm going to try something different on this one because I thought, number one, you can leave the zipper a little bit longer so that there's more room and it's hanging out. But if you enclose it in the seams when you're putting it together, I don't think you're going to have to even need a zipper end. So keep that in mind. You're doing the same thing we did from the outside. We're making a mark in the same spot on both sides so that we know that it's going to be even. But keep that in mind because you're going to want to make a decision before you cut your zipper. If you've already cut your zipper, then go with I would try tucking it in because it's going to be difficult. It was difficult for me to get a zipper, and I'll show you the other one when we're done, to get a zipper end on there. And the same thing on the other side. Also going to mark this one. Oops, hold on a second. I only did 2/8 of an inch on that seam. I need 3/8 of an inch. Okay, there we go. Trim your seams down so that there's not so much there. And then also do the ones for the other piece of the lining. Now, if you did not insert or did not do a bag tag on your exterior, which I have not on this one either, I'm going to go ahead and put it on the interior on this one also. I'm putting it on the other side that does not have the slip pocket on it. You could put it on the slip pocket. You could put it on the outside depending on what you like. This one I could put on the outside because it's the same color as the bag, but I just feel like putting it on the inside again. So every single day is a little bit different with me sometimes. Okay, and then I'm going to find my center so that I can make sure that my bag tag is centered. And then I'm going to lay it down approximately where I want it. Okay, and then I'm going to stitch it in real quick. And I could pull my, if I was putting this on the outside, I would definitely pull my ends through. But since it's on the inside, I'm not worried about backstitching on this. Again, another reason it's kind of easier to put it on the inside. So now I'm going to do the same thing on this that I did on the other. I'm going to measure with that same measurement that I've been using, the 2 1/4 inch. I'm going to make my, close my dart. And one more. And then we can put it all together and be almost finished. Once we stitch it all together, all we got to do is do the top, tack down the top of the inside and the top of the lining and the top of the exterior, and then we can put it in and top stitch and we're done. So. Okay, so just check to make sure everything looks good, and it does. I'm going to match my centers so that the top is matched up, and I'm going to put a pin up there. And then the next thing I'm going to do before I start pinning the sides is match up my bottom seams. Okay, even though this is the lining, I would like to make sure that that is as nice as possible. So I'm matching them up, and I'm putting one seam on the right and one seam on the left, so I'm putting them on opposite sides so that it's not such a big seam. Same thing on the other one. I'm matching it up first. So this is a really quick bag, and it's not too hard to cut out either. So it's a good one, I think, for craft fairs and things like that. And even if you wanted to knock it down to 85%, it'd be a real cute one for kids too. Because there's not a lot to it. And it's just really cute. And I'm going to, on the next one I'm going to add the type of zipper pocket that we added in the Celeste and see how that looks. Because I think that'll add a little bit of a flair to it. And then I also thought about putting on the back side of it, where there's not that extra piece that we sewed on, to adding a slip pocket with a magnet on there. So I think I'm going to do that on one of them too. 3/8 of an inch all the way around. My husband's sitting over there laughing. Oops. I'm not sure what he's laughing about, but okay. I'm sure I'll find out later. So now she says to trim your seams. So I'm going to trim my seams. She recommends, and I think it's a great idea, if I can find them, using pinking shears, because this, if you're using cotton at least, so that it doesn't fray, and also it makes it easier to get a nice lay on your seam when you're opening it up too, around the corners. So you do want to trim them down because you want it to be lay as nicely inside as possible. I hate using pinking shears though. I have yet to find a pair of pinking shears that are not difficult to use. And these are Kai's, so I think it's just the design of the shear itself. Is anybody chatting? I can't tell. It hasn't changed since Kathy said something, so I just want to make sure that I'm not missing something. It's been very quiet today. And I know there's only a couple people here, so I'm guessing Wednesday was not a good night. A lot of people are probably at church since it's getting ready. Well, no, it's Thanksgiving, so no, we shouldn't have Lent yet. So, not Lent, but you know what I mean. The seasons before Christmas, the Wednesdays before Christmas. Okay, so that's the inside. Now, I am going to take my exterior and get that out too. You're going to do the same thing for the exterior as you're doing for the interior, but the measurements are different. So keep an eye on that when you're, look at the pattern, when you're looking for the actual measurements. Make sure you're paying attention to the pattern. She does give you the measurement for the lining, but she recommends what to do on the exterior. So I'm going to mark my lining real quick, and then I'm going to put my double back tape on. Same thing on both sides. Same measurement on both sides. Okay. Then I'm going to take my double back tape and I'm going to put it down out here. And I'm using 3/8. Yeah, I think it's 3/8 piece. You don't like any of them, Joe? Yeah, I have yet to find. I mean, I used one when I was younger, and I didn't like them because they always hurt my hands. I had another pair that my mother gave me. I hated those. I bought another pair when I first started sewing again. Didn't like those. Finally got the Kai's. Still don't like these because they're just they just don't move easily, and I'm not sure what it is. Maybe I should ask Siri. Maybe she could look, or ask ChatGPT why pinking shears just don't work well. All right, so now what you're going to do is, you're going to take the tape off and you're going to fold down to the line you've drawn, just like we've done if you did the other bag from Oro Rosa, the Celeste. You're going to fold down to the line that you've drawn. Try and get a nice straight line because that's going to be important. You want it to be really nice and straight. Okay. Turn it over and do the next side. Now, before I go down to the middle, I'm going to fold my ends so that, and I'm going to start on the ends, because otherwise what happens is that double back tape doesn't like to lay properly, or it doesn't like to hold properly, and then your pieces don't lay straight. So you want to make sure that your ends are done first, I found, and then go back to the middle. At least that's what works best for me. Okay, so there's my lining. It's ready. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the exterior. Now, when you're going to do the exterior, that was my tape that was holding things down because I didn't catch it. And I'm thinking maybe I should put a piece of duct tape on there because I don't think it's going to hold. So give me a second, guys. Duct tape will hold better than this, I think. So I'm just laying this down on the inside where I had laid that double back tape because I didn't catch that seam in my top stitch. I don't want that seam popping up because it won't be right. So now I'm going to take, and she says underneath of your basting stitch. Well, I didn't actually do a basting stitch, so I'm folding it down just a little bit above where I've attached that 3/8 of an inch where I attached the zipper. And that worked on the other one, so that's what I'm going to do on this one, but I still have to put my tape in. And I think I'm going to, this time I'm going to try it putting my tape on the back, the top of the inside rather than down below, because then that will give me the freedom of being able to change what I'm thinking if it doesn't lay right. I'm going to flip it and do the same thing again. Down all the way. Oh, that's perfect. Right where I wanted it. Awesome. Okay, and then I'm going to go one side at a time, just like I did on the interior, and I'm going to make sure that it's even when I'm laying it down, because this is the side that's going to show. So you want to be really careful to make sure that your turn is even, and you want to check it on the outside, not just the inside. Now this time, last time, hold on a second, I'm off to the side here again. Oh, I didn't get both sides done. Last time I did not put the zipper ends inside of the seam. This time I'm going to. So I've got to be really careful to make sure that my zipper ends also are inside of the seam. You do not want your tops, your basting stitch on your zipper to show. And then I'm just going to fold it down just like if it was a 90-degree angle. And I'm going to put a piece of double back tape there in a minute when I get to it. And can I do that? Because I haven't put my zipper on yet. That's why you can't do it that way. Good catch. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm gonna put. Next time I'll just make sure my zipper end is. I'll make sure my zipper's a little bit longer so that it will make it work. Because yeah, you can't do that because then you won't be able to put your zipper on. Since it's a drop-in zipper, you have to be able to still add your zipper afterwards. So can't do it that way. If I was turning it, I could. But since I'm not, I can't. All right, so now on the sides where the zipper is 90 degrees though, you definitely want to make sure that they're all the way caught into that seam. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm going to drop in my zipper and I'm going to carefully pin it together. I want to make sure that when I pin it, it looks straight and that I'm catching the interior of the lining also. I am putting the lining so that since it doesn't have a zipper pocket, I'm putting the slip pocket on the side, the back of the purse. And I'm going to match up my edges. Corner edges as best as I can, and I'm going to start putting pins in or clips in. Catch my corners, and I want to make sure that that lining is going to catch and cover all of my seams if possible. Sometimes you might see a seam, but it shouldn't be too many times if you've done it right. Okay. You can also, in lieu of doing the clips, you can put another thing of double back tape on here. I believe she suggests that too. My puppy was so cute today. He was so tired, and I think the time changed. He's not ready, not dealing with the time change well. He at about 3:30, 4 o'clock, he went into bed, and I hid the room and went to bed. Climbed in his kennel and went to sleep, sound asleep. I'm like, okay, guess you're tired right now. Baby. And I didn't have any trouble stitching this earlier. The only thing I had to make sure was that when I went around on the sides where the tabs are, the connector tabs, to make sure that I'm catching the lining and that it's covering the seam, because that seam on that connector tab is visible if you're not careful. So you got to make sure it's put in there and that your lining covers it. And that you're not catching that end of your zipper tape, since we can't put it in there. Now you could theoretically, because she does suggest hand sewing the end of the bag. So you're going to leave your threads long and tuck them in, and then hand stitch it closed and everything. I don't sew well by hand because of my arthritis. So what I decided to do was just put my do my back stitches on the edge over here, so it's not going to be as visible. So you won't be able to see it on the back. You won't really be able to tell that it's there. You won't be able to see it on the front because it's not going to be there, and you really won't be able to tell that it's there on the back, because on the sides. So because that's where the different handle and the strap will be. So hanging down, if it's hanging, or if it's on the ground or on the table or something, you're not going to see it. Almost done. I will say that these particular clips, I wish they were just a tad bigger. I like them because they are stronger than the Wonder clips, but if they were a tad longer, it would make this type of holding your two pieces together a little bit easier, because you give you a little bit more depth in your clip. Oops, hold on. Now, you can sew it two different ways. It's a small enough bag that I can sew it from the outside and top stitch from the outside without turning it. You can also turn it and top stitch from the outside, because the outside will be on the inside, or you can top stitch from the inside and just use your bottom stitch as your top stitch on the outside. So there's several different ways you can do this. But it is a small enough bag and it's not too cumbersome that doing it this way is not difficult. So I'm just going to move that zipper end, these zipper ends out of the way. And I'm going to put that underneath my foot. Squish my bag down just a bit. Put that underneath my foot real quick. Maybe. There you go. And I'm going to make sure that that my D-ring is out of the way so that I don't catch it. And then I'm going to very carefully stitch around the outside so that I have a nice top stitch. And I am back stitching here, but again, that's not going to be seen. So that's just my personal decision. You might decide not to do that. Okay. And this is the one area I said you had to be real careful with to make sure that everything is tucked in. And that your lining is caught up to the top of your, where you wanted it placed, because it does slip a little bit when you're putting it in your foot. Okay, so come back around, there we go, got it. And I always like to do the back first, because if I do goof up, it's on the back and it's not going to be as visible. Now I'm coming around back to that, and then the next connector. So I want to make sure that I've got it connected and that it's all in the seam, and it is. Oh, good. Now my back seam started to come, my front seam started to come off, so I gotta be careful. Okay. And yes, I did back stitch right there because I want to make sure that connector does not come out. Again, I don't think it shows that much, and but that's just me. I mean, I could be wrong, and I just think it's more important to have a connector that's going to stay in than it is to not have an extra seam there, you know? Because you never know how heavy somebody's going to make their bag. Some people are a little bit crazy when they put stuff in their bags. I know I put a lot of stuff in mine. Almost done. Pull up that lining again. Make sure it's caught. Pull it up one more time. Come on. I know you can. You ever catch yourself talking to yourself when you're sewing? I do. I'm talking to the bag, but same thing. Like, why aren't you moving like you're supposed to? Almost there. I don't know what it is. Let's see if I can fix that. Too many cork. Almost done. Isn't it really pretty? I really like it. Thank you, Martha. Okay. Just check it and see what it looks like. Yeah, it should be fine. Yep. It's not perfect. The lining is not perfect on the inside, but I think it's pretty enough that it'll make up for my little bit of stitch miss right there. Okay, so there's the bag. Push the inside down in. There's the bag. Now I'm going to add the zipper. It's right here. And it's going to go on here. Okay. Hold on. That's the only thing I don't like about metallic zippers is they do like to fray. So you gotta be really careful with them. everybody get a lot of rain today? I got a ton. It seemed like it rained all day. I told my dogs winter is here. Get used to it. There we go. Make sure that everything's tucked in properly. There we go. Very nice. Now we have an zipper end, which I have right here. I got these. I got this set from Amazon, and a lot of hardware I don't like to get from Amazon, but these don't usually matter. There are these, and I thought they were very, very cute. Hold on. But they're way too narrow, so I'm going to save them for my number 3 zippers because they don't work very well on this particular, on the number 5 zippers. So when I'm putting the zipper end on, I take my zipper, fold it all the way over, fold the other zipper to the middle, and then fold it again. Okay. And then I stick it in as all the way. Okay. And you can put a little glue in there, or you can put glue in your hole for your screw, and that's what I'm going to do. I've got some Loctite here someplace. Yep. Yep. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to put that in, but before I do, I want to get my screw out and my screwdriver out. So give me a sec. It's right here. It's a pretty tiny one, so we'll go with, we'll try this one. Okay. Get that in there. Yep, that's the right one. I add a drop of Loctite into the screw hole. There we go. And then I just put the screw in. Now I haven't put hardware on my strap yet, so I'll do that off camera and then I'll post pictures, but I do want to show you the, with the handle on it. Get this all screwed in real well. It doesn't like that particular, my screwdriver tip keeps slipping. Let's try this one. Oh, that one might work. Yeah, that one's better. Okay, so there's that. There's the bag. And then let me show you the handle that I finished. I did get the sewing done on the other one, but I did not get the hardware on it yet. So I will show you the one that I braided and how it looks on there. Because what I decided to do was add, when do I usually use a number 3 zipper? Good question, Martha. I don't use very many number 3 zippers, but a lot of people say, a lot of people prefer to use them on inside, so like zipper pockets and things like that. I have just found that having a stash of, and I do have some, but having a second stash of number 3 versus number 5 zippers is just expensive for me. So it's just easier to have just use number 5 straight across the board. If you want to use a number 3 zipper, I would say use it on your interior pockets, not necessarily your exterior pockets, because if you do it on your exterior pockets, they get more use generally than an interior pocket. But if you look at bags you make at the store, the zippers are the same size most of the time. And that's kind of the way I've gone with it. Where is, oh, that's not right. Oh, here it is. So here's the handle I ended up doing. I braided it and I didn't like the way it was laying. So I took and I added rivets to on all the connectors, where all of the areas where it connects. Oh, I still have to put the swivel hooks on here, so it's not ready yet either. But I'm going to take this tomorrow and add swivel hooks on it, and then this will go here, and then I will have the shoulder strap also, the adjustable shoulder strap also. And it is done in the same fabric as this one. Do I know where it's at right off the top of my head? No. No, I'll have to find it. But it's out of the same fabric as this, the same vinyl as this. So that's it. This is the bag from Petal. It is the Ellana. Really quick, really easy. Turns out really, really cute. And I think it's going to be a great bag for fairs. I really do. The amount of sewing that goes in here makes it so quick that you know, when you're not doing it as a group, I'd be able to get this sewn up in a couple of hours once I get it all cut out. And I'm cutting out things now in bulk and doing batching. And that makes it a lot faster. Like I'll cut 6 of one thing out or 7 of one thing out and then sew them as I have time. So, anybody have any other questions? If not, I will see you hopefully on Friday. Don't forget, if you want to participate in the hardware swap, to get yourself a baggie of hardware and send me a picture so that I have it, and that way I can get everything ready to go for the swap. So if nobody has any questions, I'm going to say over and out and see you guys on Friday. And Friday is at 6 p.m. and it'll be the same channel. So just join us, bring whatever you want to sew, and it's going to be a Zoom, and I think I posted the link today. That way we can talk to each other and not just have to type. So it'll be a Zoom rather than a YouTube. Let me get you so you can see me eventually. But if you have any questions, feel free to drop me a line, and if not, I will hopefully see you on Friday. Thanks, guys. Night, everybody.